A recent report over on thatparkplace.com revealed that an insider source from Walt Disney Parks and Resorts reached out to us to let us know two things. The first is that Disney parks know they have a quality problem. The second is that instead of trying to fix it, they are creating a position within Walt Disney Imagineering that will be geared towards creating toxic narratives against detractors instead of fixing their own mistakes. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and today we're talking about the Walt Disney Company and the rumor that Walt Disney Imagineering knows they have a stinker on their hands with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the ride that used to be Splash Mountain, the most popular attraction in the world, but had to be torn down because of a younger crop of Imagineers that felt like it was too closely associated with a long out-of-print film that they deemed to be problematic, that being Song of the South. Instead of building a brand new attraction that lives up to the Disney magic of Princess and the Frog and the popularity of Princess Tiana, played perfectly by Anika Noni Rose, they decided they would rather mutilate an existing attraction and employ a minister of propaganda to attack people who want something better for Disney parks and Princess Tiana. Let's get into it. The Walt Disney Company is creating, and specifically for the parks, an in-house propaganda position to attack critics of Disney park attractions like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This one from today. A new rumor claims that Walt Disney Company is creating an in-house propaganda position in order to attack critics of the company's numerous attractions in their parks, such as Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This latest rumor comes from a confidential source close to That Park Place, whose identity we are protecting. Absolutely. The source informed us that Walt Disney Imagineering is undergoing a reorganization. As part of this reorganization, the company is, same words there, creating an in-house propaganda position whose purpose in part will be to counter the rising criticism towards what they know is increasingly poor creative. Yeah. The source said this correlates with the lead up to the promotion for Tiana's Bayou Adventure in 2024. Here's that mural that everyone seems to be debating about. The story of this ride is that it's supposed to be taking place in 1930s, and we have some kind of current day Chicago abstract African American art. No comment on the quality of the art. I will say it's not quite to my taste. The idea that the Walt Disney Company would create an in-house propaganda position in order to blunt criticisms of their parks is not out of the realm of possibility. The company has clearly employed a number of PR tactics in order to blunt criticism of their various properties in the past. John, Kara, can either of you comment on what happened with Obi-Wan Kenobi and the integration of Moses Ingram and the social media situation there?
I didn't know Kenobi.
I did. And I followed that a little bit. That was a little bit before I actually started my channel. But it's something that buddies and I would shoot the breeze about. I think, yeah, I don't know. What's your question specifically about it?
Well, just what the story was about Moses Ingram and the way that Star Wars chose to react instead of. I realize I put you in the hot seat there, so
you're good.
I'll take whatever heat could have come off this. I was just referring to describing the narrative from both sides.
Yeah, totally.
Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out, and there's a little bit of criticism here for Moses Ingram. Maybe not even that much criticism for Moses Ingram, but then Star Wars, the actual Star Wars account comes out with his tweet that says, "We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say: we resist."
Yeah, very cool Star Wars. No, I think it's for me. I remember seeing this. The whole situation, like anytime someone's just like attacking an actress or an actor or whoever just for the sake of like whatever it might be, like and attacking their integrity or just like them as a person, probably not cool, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that's happening here is like you have this show called Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's hardly about Obi-Wan Kenobi at all. Like that's where the backlash comes from, and I think that this is sort of like at the height of people, maybe not even quite the height. Maybe this is like right at the precipice of the height of everyone getting really, really upset about how Disney is treating Star Wars and treating these legacy characters that people care about. I am a younger guy. I'm 28 years old. So my Star Wars growing up were the prequels, and I loved them. So it's like it's one of those things for me where it's like I'm seeing like one of my heroes in Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan get completely like sidelined by this random inquisitor who up to this point we have never heard of before. And yeah, I don't I like I always I get that side of it. It is funny how like the Star Wars account will double down on something like this. When it's just so blatant that it's like maybe if you guys actually just cared about your storytelling and your writing and crafting a narrative that is in keeping with what sort of George has literally given you, like you could I don't know. You could have maybe avoided all of this.
Yes.
Maybe people would be like championing you along. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with pretty much the whole of what you said there. The intention here appears to be for the Walt Disney Company that they're going ahead and prepping the pump here to say they're going to be engaging in the same kind of rhetoric in trying to defend Tiana's Bayou adventure, which I'm just sitting here. I'm looking at the Epcot lights. I'm looking at Journey of Water, or is it Journey? Sorry, the full name, Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. Is the official title. Oh my goodness. It's of the same quality of everything we have come to expect from recent Imagineering. Race doesn't enter into it. In fact, I think that Tiana deserves a great ride. In fact, she does not deserve the treatment that the Walt Disney Company has given this great character by tearing down the most popular attraction in the entire world and replacing it with what sounds like it's not going to be a great ride for Tiana.
Disney has engaged in these practices before, by the way. I mean, they have, they'll put out false information through various sources in order to find the source of sources, right? They'll do some underhanded stuff. I remember, and Jonas, I shared this in the private chat with you, an Orlando Sentinel article that was published in 2021, right before the Disneyland was about to open from its 412 days of closure. Right when they implemented new changes to the Disney look. And this one was, I love Disney World, but wokeness is ruining the experience. And this was a very kind of odd thing that the Orlando Sentinel would run. And they chose a very unflattering photo of the writer here. They posted it on social media. And it felt like a campaign to discourage dissent when it came to all the alterations that they were making for the Disney look. And if for those of you who don't know, for the first time, if you were a male, you could wear female costumes, and if you were a female, you could wear male costumes. You could have tattoos. You could have facial hair that you couldn't have before, hairstyles that you couldn't have before, nail polish, and so many other things that have never been associated with the Disney look at all up until that point. And now that was becoming available. So people were very critical of that, obviously. And then this article comes out, and suddenly there was a chilling effect throughout the entire internet, it seemed, and nobody would touch this with a 10-foot pole. And it's like, what? That's a very interesting, very convenient thing that just happened right there. And it turns out those suspicions might have been correct. I haven't had full confirmation of that, but I know the Disney company engages in this stuff. So John Trent's reporting on here, I don't doubt for a second.
No, I think you're right. And we have heard from other sources in the past that the Disney key was added more because of a employment shortage than it was for an actual diversity shortage.
Absolutely.
That Disney, again, to tie this all back to what we've been talking about, that they had the highest standards for their employees. They dictated, because of their facial hair policies, they dictated the way that people had to live their lives outside of the park. In some ways. And it used to be that the standard was when you show up, you are a cast member, you are essentially a high functioning prop there to enable someone else to enjoy the park.
Yeah. You're on stage, Jonas. That's why you're called a cast member. You're on stage. You're part of the show. Just as much as, the kinetics of like the train and the monorail and the people mover. You are part of the show. Absolutely. You add to the overwhelming experience, the absolute assault on your senses that these theme parks have become. because that's what's happening. It's why when you're there for 2 or 3 days, you get something that we refer to as the 1,000-yard stare, because you've been so bombarded with stimulus that you're overstimulated in a glorious way, in a fun way. There's always something new to look at. Well, they've taken away the things that you enjoyed looking at, and then they brought the real world in with a whole lot of changes, which included the changes in the dress code, or the appearance standards, they call it. And I'm sorry, but that with all of these standards being relaxed across the board, there's no wonder why guests are recognizing the same things we are, because they're just so obvious. So anyway,
there's a story that I think some of us know what the tattoo was, and we're not going to name it here because Pro has not named it publicly. But there's a story that Bob Iger actually went into the park and saw a giant tattoo on one of the cast members' legs, and it was of a character that Disney does not own the rights to. I would say this character is generally pretty harmless when it comes down to it, but when you have a situation like that, where you have a giant cartoon character belonging to your competitor on the leg of a cast member, I would say that, not making any judgments about tattoos in general, but that makes the cast member the show more than it does making the show the show.
Yes. Yeah, you almost can't call them cast members anymore because you're not part of the show at that point. It's very, very interesting. Back in the day, 1970s, if you had long hair, you couldn't go to Disneyland as a guest.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
and now we're far away from that track.
Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think this rumor is true? Will Disney be able to match the alleged success of Obi-Wan Kenobi with this strategy? You tell us, because we would love to know your thoughts. This clip was part of our now regular Thursday live stream, which starts at noon Eastern time. Of course, if you're not in that time zone, just hit the notification bell if you'd like YouTube to tell you when that is. Like this video if you like this video. If you know someone who is as interested as we are in this kind of thing, then maybe you should share the link with them. And of course, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.